Hey guys, my name's Johan from Blueprint Coaching and Blueprint Publishing, and welcome to the Blueprint Podcast, where once a month, we talk about being an amazing human, about self-confidence, healthy habits, and sales and whatnot. But if this is your first time watching this on YouTube, please like and subscribe and share this with any family or friends. And you can also listen to this episode on Spotify as well. Just look for the Blueprint Podcast with Johan Pasola. But anyway, guys, that's enough about me. So, something that's really been on my mind, and I guess talking to a lot of business owners, sales managers, salespeople, is that the way that consumers buy products and services has really changed. And we're starting to see some evidence manifest in 2025. And I believe if someone wants to excel in sales in 2025, you're going to have to learn how to adapt to these changes. So, what are the changes that I've actually seen and have experienced myself, especially through my coaching business, is that the most important thing that I'm seeing is that the way that consumers buy has really changed. So, what I want to do with you today, guys, is share with you three things that I've implemented within my own business where I've seen results. And I've shared these solutions and strategies with people that I coach and train and so on. So, you're more than welcome to implement these changes. They're very easy, they're not going to cost you anything. It's just going to take the way you do things to think differently. So, what I've been personally doing, guys, is that when I'm trying to sell a product or service to the market, is I'm no longer trying to be a salesperson or a sales consultant. What I'm actually doing is trying to think how that consumer actually would buy my product and service. Because what I've noticed through my business is that cold calling is really dying very quickly, and I still do it. But more importantly, by the time I speak to these customers, they're already engaged with someone else. So the way that I'm seeing that consumers buy products and services is they're doing a lot of research on whom they want to do business with. So again, I'm going to share with you three simple tips. And you know what, guys? The biggest thing you need to do is start to think like a consumer. Okay. And that is going to be point number one. So when you're trying to sell a product or service or trying to market yourself to the overall market, don't just try and think about your business and have that biased approach, but honestly think, how would a consumer find you? How would a consumer trust you? How would a consumer know you? And how will that consumer buy? And just try to think about the way that you buy a product or service. Do you do Google research? Do you go on LinkedIn and maybe, investigate or stalk that person per se? Like, how do you actually buy a product or your service yourself? Do you look at price first? Do you look at value first? Because, I speak to a lot of people and they say, you know what, price isn't important. We sell the best product in the market. And I'm like, well, that's what you think, but how's your consumer acting? How are they making a decision? Maybe pricing is important to them. Maybe they want to balance. So you got to really start to think how a consumer really operates. So if I was looking at myself, I like value. I don't necessarily like paying a lot of money for something, but I also appreciate not paying anything because I know that by paying a low price, you're not going to get nothing. So even the way that I sell my services, I believe, some consumers will say it's very expensive. So it's my job to learn why they think that. And sometimes maybe I haven't shown enough value. Maybe I haven't provided them with enough information. But what I actually do is start to really think about how a consumer thinks. And when I've done that, I've found massive results. The second thing you really want to be doing in today's modern world is being a person of service. Now, companies and people talk about being transparent, that it's all about the people and that. But what is genuinely happening within your heart? So when I communicate with my clients, I always think, how is their decision going to impact themselves by choosing me? If they select me to coach them, are they going to, want to succeed? If it doesn't go plan to plan, are they going to lose their job? Are they not going to get promoted? So when I'm trying to sell a product or service, I always think about the other person. So I want to make sure that I'm actually giving them what I've actually promised. And when I speak to a lot of people in business, they promise a lot, but they don't deliver a lot. And that's the quickest way to burn your bridges. So you got to understand, you can put on your website that we're transparent, we're the best at what we do. But until you actually do it, those words that you have on your wall, on your website mean sweet F all. And you've got to prove the way you operate on the marketplace. See, even before this podcast, I emailed a few people. I've talked to people on LinkedIn and Instagram and said, hey, give me your details and I'll send you this private link. And the recording was being done as we spoke. And I've kept my promise. And I promise you that you got that link either that same day or that following morning, like I promised. Build trust within the market because you can have a fancy logo, the best product in the world. But if you don't have trust, you're not going to go anywhere. The third thing is you got to have a personal brand and a company brand. When I speak to a lot of business owners, they focus so much energy and resources on their personal company brand. So the company might be called XYZ. They spend money on marketing for their brand, but what they don't spend money on is a person that is selling that product or service. And I would say in today's modern world, this is where 95% of people are failing in sales. I don't see salespeople, going on LinkedIn, delivering content. They're too scared. But in today's modern world, people want to know, again, who they're buying from. So you've got to build a personal brand. And if you work for a company, ask that manager, that top line manager, the GM, the owner of the business saying, hey, invest some money in me so I can take some good photos. I can get my profile up. I can do some video content recording. Maybe I can do a podcast. You don't need your own studio. You can do it simply like I'm doing it. And if your boss says no, then you've got to ask yourself, is that the right company you want to be with? And if you're a business owner and you really want to scale up, spend money on a brand on your stuff. Do not be scared if your staff member ever leaves in the future, because that will happen. That's natural. But invest in your staff branding. Okay. Become the catalyst of creating personal brands within your own company. And I guarantee you, when people know who they're working for, your brand will flourish as well. But don't be scared. Don't be selfish. And that's all I really wanted to share with you on today's podcast. It didn't have to be anything fancy or too long. All I wanted to share with you were those three techniques. Now, if you're a business or an individual and you'd like to understand how branding works in sales, give me a yell. I'm going to leave my email below. I'm going to leave my website. Contact me. I'm going to leave my phone number. And let's work on this together if you're having troubles. Don't let ego, shame, fearfulness, really hold you back from excelling. So, guys, I'll leave you with this. Invest in your brand, deliver trust, keep your promises, and like I said, more importantly, start to think the way a consumer thinks. God bless, guys. Speak to you soon, and welcome to the Blueprint Podcast by Johan. Cheers, guys. Take care.